Welcome to Late Breakfast, everybody. I'm Taurian B.
And I am First Class Regg.
Welcome back to another week of Late Breakfast. We want to talk about posthumous albums. We just got an album from Pop Smoke, and it's debuting at number one. It's projected to sell 200,000 copies in the first week, which is amazing, which is great, right? And then later on this week, we have Juice WRLD's album that's dropping. And I just wanted to talk to you guys. How do you feel about an artist's music coming out after their death? Like we had Tupac, who has put out, I want to say he's put out at least like 6 albums since his death of recording.
He didn't put out anything.
Well, I mean, okay.
Tupac is still alive. So
people that own his music, people that have the rights to his music have put out numerous records. They put out 2 Biggie albums, the Biggie duets and Born Again. Obviously, not leaving hip hop. You have Elvis, who has had albums released or unreleased songs. Who else? Bob Marley, John Lennon. Like that, it's a thing. And Michael Jackson. They're trying. They wish to God that they could release a Prince album. But the thing is most people say that artists are more valuable to their estates dead than they are alive, because people do it off the nostalgia. And yes, a lot of people really, really wanted this pop album to come because this was his debut album. It's not like we already had music. And there was a lot of controversy surrounding Pop's album because a lot of people felt like what happened wasn't what was wanted or how he would have wanted it to be. Starting off with the album, the original album cover that I saw on the timeline that Shenae was very upset about and disturbed by. And she was one of the main voices that got through to Stephen Victor, and they changed it to just the Rose, which I thought was cool. Even though like a lot of fans made fan-made covers that I thought should have possibly gotten acknowledged, right? And now we have Juice WRLD, who's dropping a project, and there are reports that the label said that the album is so good that some of the people at the record label cried when they heard the album. But do you guys think that when an artist passes that should be it? Like that their catalog should just be locked away and we shouldn't hear unreleased songs?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I think that as long as it's done tastefully, and I think that if it's done within the vein of what the artist was giving us up until the point of their passing, I think that, looking at Mac Miller, looking at Circles that came out, was a fantastic project that followed up, Swimming, which is another great, fantastic project. I think there's nothing wrong with people coming up with content. The problem is just the fact that sometimes when these artists leave us, their estates and the people that have the rights to their music don't really do right by them. Like, look at Yeah Baby. Like, they did Pun Dirty. Like, that following up Capital Punishment was a travesty. Or Born Again, following up Life After Death. Like, sometimes when you have these records, these albums are a far cry from the trajectory that the artist would have gone on to. And I think it speaks more to the disconnect between the artist and the people around them. Because I think that it just shows like they weren't truly probably in tune with who that person is. As far as, I think that you got to continue to still listen to this music and take it in. If they have it, it should be out. It should be out for their fan base. Just because their life is taken away from their fan base doesn't mean that music has to be, if done tastefully.
Just to what you said, Pun actually did a lot of work on Yeah Baby himself. The whole reason I guess a lot of people don't like it is more of the commercial twist it has to it, which a lot of people didn't see as Pun's trajectory, but he actually stated from the jump he wanted to make one gritty album, one commercial album, and then do the third album was going to be both. So that's why he went on the very commercial, lighter side with Yeah Baby, as opposed to the gritty lyrics that on Capital Punishment. But I think a big thing has to do partially with these posthumous albums is really let's hear from their family. I think in a lot of times everybody wants to hear these albums from these people, and we forget that we're being greedy. Their family deserve the say on what happens. Look at, for example, nothing from Aaliyah has ever come out. It's not even on DSPs. A lot of times for a lot of these families, it's harder to see this stuff still be out and go around. Some of these families don't need the money. So for them, it's not about the money. For them, it's more about that peace of mind. That being said, I do think if the artist was involved in the project, or the artist, if it's a whole project, I think if the artist had a direct hand, like it seems like Pop Smoke had a lot of direction already going, and they pieced it together with the direction he was already going on this album. I think then it's more okay. For example, Circles, like Cosi brought up, it was already in the process. They already knew the direction Mac wanted and what to respect of Mac's wishes on it and how to go forward on it. So I think that plays a huge factor.
I think personally, I've always had mixed reviews about it. I think because sometimes as fans, we are selfish and we get these post albums, and most of the time we don't like it. And I think it's more or less because we miss that artist so much. Even to Pop's album, like I know he wanted more of a commercial album from what I'm hearing, and 50 did the best he could with the music that he had, but Pop had made a lot of friends and recorded a lot of records. So I've seen a lot of mixed reviews about this album. Like a lot of people felt that they wanted 2 G's on it, they wanted Fabi on it, so I think they wanted more gritty, wanted more Brooklyn bass, and that's to everybody's right, to each their own right. For me, post albums, they just feel like incomplete. They feel incomplete. Like it doesn't feel like that person's best interest is at heart. I think the only person to do it well is probably Pop, but I still don't think Tupac is dead, so that's why those albums sound so good. But all the other albums sound incomplete to me. It feels like there's a gaping hole in it. Like there's no soul in it, so it's hard for me to listen to them.
Well, would Life After Death technically count? It is a posthumous album.
It is. It is also a part. I was going to hit on that it was actually 3 projects that came out after Biggie's death, but they were just it's the same as Pop shit. It came out very close to after his death, so we kind of like think that he was in the recording process, so the estate probably couldn't meddle with it as much, but definitely have to count Life After Death.
I think the reason why we don't count After Death is because we had Hypnotized. We had videos coming out at that time, and we were living that album. So it didn't feel like single. We had Light Sky's the Limit was a video as well. Like you guys,
2 songs. I mean, Life After Death is a double disc album. That's still 2 songs out of 30. So at the end of the day, like right, we're living with it, but that's still a lot of content that he put out. Like,
that was complete. Like he had an album listening party and everything. So I think that's the difference.
Okay.
Is that it was exactly to what Biggie wanted, and then unfortunately he died. I guess with Pop, it was a bunch of songs, and I'm pretty sure he would have did more recording and done more fine tuning. Shenae, I want to hear your thoughts on this.
So I was one of the people that was very anti not only the cover but of Pop's album, but the track list, because I felt like, why is it a Quavo and Pop Smoke album? And then there's Tyga, and then there's like other stuff. Like I just listened to the album for the first time today because I just couldn't do it. So I listened to it today, and I took back some of what I said because I realized I think like 2 of the songs that Quavo is on, like Pop mentions him being on the song. So it's like, it's not something that 50 or Stephen Victor decided to do when he wasn't here. Like it was already in play.
Mm-hmm.
Just let that go. But I do agree that the people who should have their hands in post, I don't know how to say the word, but the albums after people pass should be mostly like their close-knit people rather than label heads or like whoever decides to like executive produce it. It should more so have the hands of the people who know the person the most, because they would know what the person wants, I guess, like with the 5-Yo and everyone else that's from Brooklyn. But apparently the deluxe is supposed to do what we want, so we just gotta wait and see. But I feel
Rumor, Sorry, Shenae. Rumor has it that Pop and Quavo actually had an EP coming out, right, and that's where a lot of that music came from.
And because of that, I'm not too mad at it because it gives this is what he wanted. So if that's your bestie, then I'd that's what you wanted, bro. Like, it's fine. I just felt like the rowdy, like, granted we can't get nothing better than him being on the phone. It's like, I thought we had better technology for it to not sound like he on the phone, but
sometimes I think they want that sound, the same way like Ty Dolla $ign.
I think so too.
Brother. But I think I think my main thing is like, it's usually hard for me to listen to. Can you not? It's usually hard for me to listen to an album after somebody has passed. Like even though Victory Lap was released while Nip was alive, it still is eerily creepy to hear like some of the things that he spoke about. It just feels like a Ready to Die album. Also, it's like one of those last things. But I think the way they package them and present them, because these are their final projects of some of these artists, and the way we dispose of music so quickly in this time frame, I think there should just be more care in how they're presented in the rollout for them. Because I just feel like Pop's album just appeared one day. It was like, oh, here it is. And I was just like, wait, why didn't we not have a proper rollout for this album? Like, this was this man's only body of work we're really, really going to have. You know what I'm saying? So I just feel like there was a lack of care in how that was presented. And also, there needs to be clear dialogue in who's being or who's benefiting off of these projects. Because for us to want to support their families, I want to make sure that this money is going to the family and not a bunch of other people behind the scenes that are trying to get their money back from somebody that they can no longer profit off of. I just wish there was better handling that. Say it again?
I said from day one, I felt like they should have pushed it back. Like Meet the Woo 2 just came out in February. And we're still listening to Meet the Woo 1. There was no reason to put it out so fast. And I think that's another thing with how you say?
Posthumous.
With them Pop-Tarts. You gotta I feel like the timing, like even if it was already set up, like if Pop was here and it's gonna come out, I still would have felt like it was too soon. But I mean, taking into account that we're in the house and he died, like I don't know if they expected time to move different, but there was no need for it to come out already. Like Bobby and Rowdy been locked up for 7 years and we still listen to their shit like it just like we still wait for it to come on in parties.
Yeah.
There was no reason to rush.
I think
that's where we're at though, right?
A lot of it, my bad. A lot of it to what Shenae was saying. I think they kind of want to cash in on the moment because I feel like those people are in tune with what's going on the timeline. Like every now and then or every other day, you see somebody reminiscing about Pop and his influence. So I think in a sense they kind of have to do it while it's a topic because it's here today, gone tomorrow with these topics sometimes. So like I feel like they kind of have to seize this moment. And I don't think even listening to the project, it doesn't sound rushed. It sounds complete. There's things, and mind you, I wasn't like the biggest Pop enthusiast, so I don't really know who he was supposed to collab with, who he wasn't supposed to collab with. Like I was learning from the timeline that some people didn't like some of the people that was on the album. But I think it came together the best that they could. I just like Chloe said, I would want to know who this album is benefiting, if it's benefiting his family. Like I would really like to know that just for my state of mind. But just listening to albums after people die is always going to be eerie. But it's kind of a just due to the fans that he left behind. So
to that point, I think what to Shenae's point with Meet the Woo 1 and Meet the Woo 2, when you rush projects like this and you think that you're not doing the best job is to put music and keep while the iron is hot, said quote unquote, it just makes the other past projects seem so much better. Now I look at Meet the Woo 2, and Meet the Woo 2 to me feels like his album now.
It's so
it has, and I guess what the problem is that when I listen to the new album, it was too polished. It was too refined. It sounded too cheesy. It sounded too commercial. Where when I listen to Meet the Woo 2, there's hunger there. There's pain there. Those tracks sound differently now. Christopher Walken sounds different to me now.
Element.
Take the Room sounds different. So I think when you say like a rush, I don't think so because I remember when Big died and the music that we got about even from the Locks, from Diddy, like there's things that could be done. There's plenty of footage that this personal photographer is posting about him new content every day. Mm-hmm. Like you could have done something to stretch this out so that way it didn't feel like it's here today, gone tomorrow. and it's kind of unfair to his legacy.
My personal opinion, they could have did a deluxe version of Meet the Woo too if they wanted to cash in on the moment, and then save the album for next year to keep his name alive. Because now you drop 2 projects in 1 year with nothing. What's coming out next year? Like, what's to come of the rest of his legacy? Not to say he doesn't have verses with other people that engineers and whoever might have, but we can't make another full album.
Well, you're right. I didn't think about it like that. You're right.
I was like checking out. I was looking through different interviews, and I looked at a lot of stuff that Steven Victor talked about, and he said that he wasn't going to put the album out. Steven Victor said that he couldn't even listen to Pop. And what happened was 50 Cent contacted him, and 50 was like, nah, like we gotta hit while the iron is hot. And Pop was very influenced by 50, and he said it would be fire if you could executive produce my album one day. So 50 felt like it was his duty to step into that role and do that. And what I also saw, like, him and Quavo became very close. Him and Virgil became friendly. I know a lot of people saw Tyga and was like, Tyga? But he actually fucks with Tyga.
Same with King Combs. They were friends.
They were friends, right? So the thing is that a lot of people felt like a lot of the dudes that he came up with should have been on the album. But the thing is that for your debut album, most artists' debut albums aren't full of people like their crew. Sometimes it is, but it's like, you know, like your polished crossover kind of thing. And I think for this album, they got exactly what they wanted, and this is why they did 200K first week. So now they're hoping that they're going to get more steam and probably drop the deluxe version in August or September for the fall with the other songs that are planning to come out. And I think a lot of people hold on to their memory of Pop, but you know, he spoke to Steven Victor every day, and that was who was helping him with everything. So I just think that it might not be what we think Pop wanted, but for all we know, that might be exactly what he said. He said, yo, I want to go Hollywood. I want to get out of this Brooklyn drill shit. I want to get away from this sound. I want to so I could do other stuff, you know?
Yo, whose dog is dying?
That's mine. Sorry. I'm trying. I'm like, while I'm talking to you, I'm kicking him right now. Sorry.
Oh my God.
Not kicking him for real. I'm like trying to
Amy Cooper your ass.
But yeah, so you know, I just think it's unfortunate. Like, I wish Pop was here, and then I guess it would be on Pop, but it's like now it's being left on other people coming with, and we gotta deal with that. So it sucks.
I'm gonna jump in. Go ahead, T. I'm sorry.
The last thing I was going to say is that another unfortunate thing is that artists sign contracts. So yes, it will be great if, you know, all of the proceeds can go to his mom and his family and everything like that. But he signed a contract and he owes money. So money has to be recouped. I understand there's, you know, right or wrong and like a moral compass, but these people invested money in the Pop Smoke. So they have to make their money back.
We know that, obviously. Bills have to be paid in a proper way, but we want to know, obviously, like, if some proceeds or how the future plan is to help with the estate, you know, helping out the family. Because obviously they lost a person.
Right. No, they did. I hope that it is done right, but like we don't know like how much rights he owns to his music or his sales and stuff like that. How big his advance was? It sucks, man. It sucks. Like, that's what happens.
So it could be going there.
Look at Big Pun. Big Pun signed away everything.
Joe took that shit.
I mean, shit, no. I mean, if you really want to get technical, Steve Rifkin took everything. Everybody be mad at Fat Joe.
Yeah, that contract was not favorable.
Nuts.
Everybody blames Joe, though. Nobody talk about Steve Rifkin. Steve Rifkin
kind of
ran off.
But to that Juice WRLD album, I don't. It's crazy because I've been listening to a lot more of artists that were extremely problematic, that were young, I didn't want to listen to, but after. So like the Trippie Redds, the Juice WRLDs, the Triple X's. Huh?
Juice WRLD was problematic?
It just wasn't. He was in that crowd that just wasn't music that
he was a kid.
He was a kid. Like it was just like
he was very like his music is like really emo and it's not.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna say.
Yeah, it wasn't problematic.
It's different. it was different to even listen to it now. I was like, wow, like I wish I would have gave this music a chance when this person was alive to like not be a part of like the bandwagon banter of like, oh yeah, he was a legend. And I don't really know if I listen to his music like that. But I am excited to hear this Juice WRLD project.
Kort, what you had to say, Kort?
Pop's fame was still in its infancy to me. So I kind of just really got on the quote unquote bandwagon 2-3 months ago to kind of catch up, like right before he passed, unfortunately. But so I'm not really gonna just to speak into that. But posthumously, when it comes to these artists that die, I'm not on I'm not with it. Lock the music away. I think a lot of it gets mishandled. We've spoken. Each one of you have brought up a point as to why we should not do it. I think if I don't know if any of you have made music. Music is a very intimate thing. It's a very intimate process. Down to the sequencing, the feel, the aesthetic, the photography, all of it is in the mind of the artist. And now the artist is gone, and you got a hodgepodge of group of people coming together to try and relive that feeling. And you can't. That's not a feeling you're going to get back because that person is gone. And I get what you're trying to do. You want to give the fans the work and you want that name to live on. But if they were someone of some type of substance and relevancy, they're going to live on forever. We never got another Aaliyah song. I still play Aaliyah to this day. I'm not, if it's not done right, I'm not with it.
Well, no, we got an Aaliyah album after she died with a bunch of unreleased, which wasn't done that
right.
bad. Like, we got maybe like 4 or 5 new Aaliyah songs from that. But to your point, it's not like constant material being dropped from that side. So I get what you're saying.
It sucks, man. It really does. I think I'm on the side of if the album was already like crafted or mostly done, like 80-75% done, put it out. But if you just stringing together songs, like the first 2 unreleased Tupac albums, I was like, all right, I get it. And this is Tupac's bad because Tupac never had it. He only had direction on like 2 albums anyway. He just put a bunch of music together. But after a while, it's like, all right, this dude didn't even finish a lyric right here. So, like it was just
see no changes and then drop the music.
Yeah. So, I just think
relax. No changes. Changes is a really good song.
Yeah, Changes is amazing. But
Tupac's cool.
I'll say this about Pop, right? I think that Pop's energy was so unique, and I was pretty early on the Pop wave. I think that Pop's energy was so unique, and he was so beloved in Brooklyn. Like, I feel like Brooklyn is still bubbling, and it takes a lot for me to say that because I'm from Harlem. But I'll give full respect and say that, like, what Brooklyn has going, I think Pop's going to live on for a minute because his music is going to come off and now his songs is right up there with Computers and Hot Nigga. I don't think Pop's music is ever going to not ring off at clubs and at parties and at cookouts and stuff like that. I think his music going to ring off for a long time. I'm really confident in saying that.
So we 50 years old. We shaking the room.
Yeah,
at the barbecue.
Yeah,
you're shaking the room.
Computers at my wedding.
Computers, yeah.
I'll be there. I'll be that auntie. I don't care.
Yeah,
that's litty. I'm with it.
Yeah. All right. So with that being said, I'm Taurian B.
And I am First Class Regg.
Thank you guys for watching. We'll catch you guys next week.
Peace.